faith, fitness, and wellness to help you live in alignment with God's design. Together, we'll explore practical strategies, biblical wisdom, and inspiring testimonies to strengthen your body, renew your mind, and uplift your spirit. Our foundational scripture is 3 John chapter 1 verse 2. Dear friend, I pray that you may enjoy good health and that all may go well with you, even as your soul is getting along well. This is a space for us to grow in faith and wellness together. Welcome back to the Well Woman Coaching Podcast, where faith meets wellness. I'm your host, Alexis Crisp, certified Christian life coach, fitness trainer, and nutrition educator. This is episode 4, the final part of our cycle syncing for faith, fitness, and fullness of life series. And today we're bringing it all together. We talked about each of the 4 phases: menstrual, follicular, ovulatory, and luteal. Now, let's take some time to talk about how to make this a sustainable, life giving lifestyle that flows with your faith, and most importantly, your calling. Let's go deeper. Why does living in sync matter? That's the question that we should be asking ourselves. And this is what occurred to me when this cycle syncing first came into my awareness. As I've been saying through the 4 part series, Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1 makes this very clear in terms of there being a time for everything. God has designed our bodies with a natural rhythm, the same way He designed the earth with seasons. And when we align with these rhythms, we work with His design instead of against it. What I want us all to remember is living in sync is not about any type of rigid rules. This is about stewardship and structure. You are creating structure that supports your health, your ministry, your work, your relationships, and your rest. The more that we live in sync with this natural internal rhythm that we have, the less we're fighting against our own body. And that's what I realized I was doing, demanding more of myself than I had to give in certain times of the month. The more energy and clarity you have as a result of learning how to be in sync with your own rhythm, the more energy and clarity you're going to have for the things that God has called you to. Let's build a monthly framework together. Here is a simple way that we can apply everything that we have learned up to this point. So, as review, the menstrual days, that's day 1 that you start bleeding through 5. This is the time to rest, reflect, a great time to plan the month ahead. Focus on your warming, iron rich foods and very gentle movement. This is a wonderful time to really deepen your time with God. Follicular phase, that's next, days 6 through about 14. This is the time to start new projects. You can brainstorm and also move your body with more energy. Fresh, light meals are going to be best for us during this time. And then start to engage in creative tasks that you have. Creative tasks are going to fit beautifully into this follicular phase. You have a room that you want to redecorate or anything that needs to be creatively inspired. Tap into the energy of that follicular phase. Next, we have our ovulatory phase, days 13 through 15. This is the time to schedule your most social, high energy work. It's a short window, so you're not you it might take some time to really nail it. Some people feel when they're ovulating. I do feel when I'm ovulating, but by the time I feel it, it's actually just about it's probably day 16 or 17. And then I look back and say, "Oh wow, I really did enjoy that social such and such a couple of days ago, I start to realize it. So, that ovulatory time, schedule your social engagements, anything that requires the highest level of your energy. Do your high intensity workout, any type of community outreach. I'm speaking to myself right here because I have some community outreach to do. Schedule this around your ovulatory time. This is also a good time to have important conversations. The next phase is luteal. Those are days 15 through 28. We want to wrap things up here in this season, complete projects, and start to prepare for rest. We already know this rest period is coming again. As sure as the sun is shining tomorrow, we know that our menstrual cycle is coming again, day one. It's time to rest. Where I have needed some work, what I'm improving on is starting to wrap things up in this luteal phase instead of starting them up, which is where they belong in the follicular phase. So I start things in the follicular phase, but I really need to be wrapping things up, not taking on new things in the luteal phase because that leads to a significant level of overwhelm for me. Also, in this luteal phase, we want to start to shift those high intensity workouts to be more moderate and gentle because we're moving into menstruation. So, when you plan things this way, you stop expecting the same output from yourself week after week, and we honor our natural ebbs and flows, the natural ebbs and flows that God has built into us. Science does support the idea that our hormones influence our energy, mood, and even our metabolism across the month. There are studies that show variations in our calorie needs, our performance, and focus between phases. But this is what's important, and what has been most important for me is that grace must guide any practice that you have. And that's why these are all just frameworks that I work with. It's nothing true. It is not 100% true for me. As I have said, the Bible is the word of truth that I stand on. These are just things that have come into my awareness that I figured, hey, let me give it a shot and see what aspects of this are beneficial. Along with the blood type diet, I'm along with the cycle syncing, I do follow the blood type diet. So there are certain foods that are recommended during the, I'd say, menstrual phase, for example. I believe pork is recommended. I don't eat pork, not for religious reasons. I don't eat pork because it's not recommended for my blood type. I also don't eat mushrooms because they're not recommended. So even though they are recommended based on this cycle syncing, I don't eat them. So that's always my encouragement to everyone, is to share the way I have gone about coordinating my care, coordinating and really being empowered to create my own wellness plan and put different parts together based on what has worked for me. So I try things, see how my body responds, see how my mental health responds, and go from there. And I've taken, this is 20 years of a journey for me. And in the past 5 years is when juicing and the cycle syncing came in. And the juicing and the cycle syncing together, I would say, were the tipping point that tipped me over, along with therapy. I have an amazing therapist, two amazing therapists actually. I keep saying that's another podcast episode, why I have two therapists and why that's working for me, because the compartmentalization of therapy, I believe, is not actually recommended, but it's working working for me and my therapy team. That is what we are doing here. We are collaborating with ourselves to create a wellness toolkit for ourselves to help us be our best. So there are going to be months where you follow everything perfectly, and there are other months where you're going to be thrown a curveball. If you are going to family outings, reunions, birthday parties, all of those things, please don't go and I can't eat this and I can't eat that. Don't do that with anything that you have in your life. Don't add the cycle sinking in as a restrictive and rigid aspects of your life. Living in sync is not about perfection. This is about awareness. And when you know the why behind how you're feeling and how you're making your choices, this can serve your body instead of draining your energy. And we're all about our energy conservation and management. Psalm 139:14 reminds us that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. And my encouragement for all of us is to remember that this includes our hormonal shifts. Every energy spike and all of the things about us is part of how we were fearfully and wonderfully made. When you live in sync, you can start to weave your spiritual disciplines into your physical rhythms. So, deep prayer. This is a time during your menstrual phase that deep prayer is going to be highly beneficial. Take that time for deep prayer and reflection. During your follicular phase, great time for vision casting and sh- determining what your faith goals are. In your ovulatory phase, be bold in your ministry and service. Maybe it's a time to pull your ministry team. If you're leading ministries at church, pull your team together. When you know you're ovulating and your communication skills are going to be at their highest, your ability to connect with your team is going to be the best. Do that during your ovulatory phase. And then during the luteal phase, this is a chance for gratitude and preparation. So there's something to do in every phase of our cycle. An action step for us to take this month is to create our own cycle syncing plan, again, based on what works for you. I took the information from the book, from the PDFs, the resources that were provided. Again, that book is In the Flow by Alyssa Vitti that inspired me, and I heard her on a podcast as well. I created my own cycle syncing plan based on the structure that was laid out and this information, this new information that came into my view from reading the book. Write down each phase, the foods, the workouts, the spiritual focus that you want to work on. You can track your energy and your mood, and then you can make adjustments month after month based on how it's going to fit into your life. So please do not tell your family you listen to a podcast and you can't talk to anybody during your menstrual cycle because Alexis said you need to rest. That is not what we're saying. You are fully capable of doing and executing all of the things of your life all month long, but we want to be aware that there may be a best and right timing for certain things, and when we can have, let's say, the majority of our lives, even if that's 60 to 70%, I think that's excellent if you're able to plan that much of your life. Even shoot for 40% of your life if you're able to plan it and schedule things around your cycle and be more in sync. I think that's a good goal to have. So this month, create your own cycle syncing plan. Get the book. Get the book and listen to the book. Listen to it for yourself, read it for yourself, see if it resonates with you. If not, it's great discussion to have with another woman. This is an experience that we all share from now until the end of time. I always want to be as resourceful as possible. So even if something is not for me, I know that I may be the carrier to bring this information to someone else that it may work for. Deserve to have all of the information and options that are available in front of us. This does conclude our Cycle Syncing for Faith, Fitness, and Fullness of Life series. My prayer is that you now have a framework to live in sync with God's design for your body and honoring Him in every phase during the month. If this series has blessed you, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with another woman who's ready to live well. You can find more resources, coaching, and ways to connect with me at wellwomancoaching.net. Until next time, remember 3 John chapter 1 verse 2. Dear friend, I pray that you may enjoy good health and that all may go well with you, even as your soul is getting along well. Let's keep growing in faith and wellness together.